for the investigation. We've been through everything on collusion and obstruction. We can't find an incriminating anything. And we need a basis for this investigation, particularly since we now know it was started by biased people.
We have James Comey's testimony.
Well, Comey's testimony is hardly worth anything. And nor did he ever. James Comey had never found any evidence of collusion and rules out obstruction by saying the president had a right to fire me. So all the rest of it is just politics. I mean, the reality is Comey, in some ways, ends up being a good witness for us. Unless you assume they're trying to get him into a perjury trap, he tells his version, somebody else has a different version.
How is he a good witness for the president if he's saying that the president was asking him, directing him, in his words, to let the Michael Flynn investigation go?
He didn't direct him to do that. What he said to him was, can you give him a break?
Comey says he took it as direction.
Well, that's okay. I mean, taking it that way. I mean, by that time, he had been fired. And he said a lot of other things, some of which have turned out to be untrue. The reality is, as a prosecutor, I was told that many times, can you give the man a break? Either by his lawyers, by his relatives, by friends. You take that into consideration, but that doesn't determine that not going forward with it. Also, the obstruction statute they want to charge him with or write a report about.
You know they want to charge him with something?
No, I don't know that. But that I think are investigating, although they've never really told us what they're investigating, which is what we want to know. It says you have to actually obstruct. There's no obstruction here. If you look at the Lester Holt interview, which NBC unfortunately doesn't play the end of, the president says, when Lester Holt asks him, do you expect this investigation to go on? On tape, the president says, of course I do. In fact, I believe it's going to go on longer now, and I did it for the best interest of the people, of the country. The president knew the investigation was going to go on. It did go on. That's the best fact that we have. Nothing interfered with Mueller getting to the end of this investigation.
You've been on the case now for several months, and it seems like every time you come on, you're stretching out the timeline for when a possible encounter with Mueller will happen. First, it was going to be within a couple of weeks. Then it was going to be after the Singapore meeting with the North Korean leader. Have you simply determined that the president is not going to sit down for an
We have not. We're close to determining that. But the reason for the extension are the extraordinary things that happened that we didn't expect. It began before I started with the Cohen thing. It took a while to unravel all that. Then the Horowitz report is devastating. I mean, it's 500+ pages. There are more things in that you have to review than you can imagine. And it casts a taint over the entire investigation. It was started, Mueller hired originally as his chief investigator, a man that